Real quick. So I'm Tim Gasper. I'm our Director of Product over here at Data.World. I've been heavily involved ever since I got here with really our enterprise data catalog solution. And one of the things that I've always been really excited about, ever since I joined Data.World is first of all, Data.World has created the largest open data catalog in the world, which, if you go to Data.World, you can join for free, and we've got, hundreds of thousands of data sets and community members working on, various projects, educational initiatives, as well as open data capabilities. We've been able to kind of bring the power of that open data catalog to the enterprise. And all the consumer web sort of design aspects, all of the speed to value, as well as, the sort of collaborative and social elements as well. And so I think that, Data.World is doing some really exciting things there. And today we're gonna kind of dive into a more technical view of how quickly can you build out a metadata management plus data management solution. And obviously, I'm going to be showing this in a way that takes a few sorts of shortcuts around making sure that, we don't have to build out a more specific sort of metadata model. We're going to use a default metadata profile here and a few other things, but we really are doing this live. And we are going to do this end to end. So that way, this is not a sort of contrived example. This is the real product working in action. And as part of this demonstration, what I'll be showing you is, first of all, our ability to collect metadata from different source systems, not just data warehouses like Snowflake, but also analysis systems such as Tableau Server and all the dashboards and things that are happening on Tableau. We'll set up a live connection to Snowflake to not just provide us the metadata, but provide us the virtual access as well. One of the things that's unique about Data.World is, in addition to the metadata cataloging and sort of the ability to bring in data sets directly into our platform, is the ability to have virtual connections to different data sources and push down that SQL and that reporting down to that source system to really leverage, its built-in performance and its built-in capabilities. And so we'll be showing that with Snowflake today. The third thing we'll show is that we'll actually initialize our metadata management system with that default profile that I mentioned. So it'll have a default metadata schema, and it'll bring in a sample glossary term as well, although we will build another glossary term as part of this demo. We'll load in all those metadata assets that we crawled and with our Snowflake and Tableau crawlers, show off what that catalog sort of looks like. And then finally, we'll go and actually expose that data from Snowflake as a virtual data set. So you're seeing metadata here, you're seeing data access, virtual access, as well as sort of the user experience around this. We won't be going too much into the actual sort of end analyst user experience, which obviously as a follow-up, feel free to reach out to us and then we'll go into more depth. So without further ado, this is sort of the higher level view here. So you'll see Snowflake and Tableau. We'll be pulling the data and analysis metadata into Data.World. If you can click ahead, we'll be doing the virtual query and curation, as I mentioned, and we'll be pulling in those glossary terms. And once everything is in Data.World, we'll be unlocking all of the different capabilities that come with our platform, which include our ability to do the discovery around those different assets, the actual access of those different things through virtual access and the ability to request access, governance around those different assets, from stewardship to compliance and lineage, to the actual empowerment and democratization across the company. So crowdsourcing, collaboration, data literacy, and much more. So at this point, I'll go ahead and share my screen. It looks like you'll have to unshare real quick, Jenny, and then I'll be able to hit my share button. So we'll share my desktop here. It looks like we're good to go. I'll first say that, Data.World, when we jump in, you can see our interface here is a little different than your traditional enterprise data software. We really did take our roots from consumer web and bring that to the enterprise with detailed news feeds powered by machine learning to help people discover the different assets in their organization that are important to them, both data and metadata. We kind of consider this that Facebook for data. The ability to then search for different assets and have that sort of Google for data experience, and then browse those different data sets and have that Amazon for data experience where you can really evaluate, is this the right data, see the sort of curation and the reviews and comments around those different assets, and then request access and leverage them all through this platform. But today we'll be building out that initial catalog and actually pulling that metadata and those data connections together. And so as part of that, just to add to the excitement and the drama a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and turn on a timer, and I'm going to set it for 10 minutes because I want to show you that we can do all of this in 10 minutes. So just add a little bit of added flair there. So we'll have that kind of running in the background, and we'll check that later. So the first thing that we want to do is actually crawl Tableau and crawl Snowflake. And so when I go and I hop over to this folder here, you can see that I've got a Snowflake cataloger file here and a Tableau server file here. These are Docker containers. And so one of the things that we do is we make it really easy for you to run these crawlers in your environment of choice. So whether that's in a cloud environment or if that's more of an on-premise environment, whether you're using Docker running on your laptop or you have some sort of a setup to run containers, you can run these crawlers very easily and within your networking environment. And so we're going to run these crawlers against our Snowflake and Tableau connections. And so I'll go ahead and pull up a couple of terminal screens here and hop over to my text editor so I can easily copy and paste. And so I've got my Snowflake crawler code, which I'll run in this window here. And I'll grab my Tableau crawler code, which I'll run in this window here. And so those are now off to the races, and they're going and interacting with those systems. In the case of Snowflake, it's working with JDBC. In the case of Tableau, it's working with the Tableau APIs, and going and pulling all that metadata and creating a graph-based file. What's really great about Data.World is that everything at our foundation is built on a knowledge graph. And so all of this information, metadata, data, and otherwise, is turned into graph information, which becomes a part of that knowledge graph. And that's really how we put together and run our catalog. So the next step here is I'm going to actually go and create a Snowflake connection, because in addition to being able to do that metadata, I'd like to be able to have those virtual queries as well. And so when I go and hop over to our integrations, you can see that we have a variety of different integrations, both on the data side as well as on the analytics side. And so feel free to go to data.world/integrations and check them out for yourself. In this particular example, I'm going to be searching for Snowflake and creating a Snowflake connection. So I'll hop over to Snowflake, I'll click Manage, and I'll hit Add New Connection. So I'm going to go ahead and call this Snowflake Cat Test 7, because I know that that's the organization that I'm going to be storing this in. I'm going to go ahead and grab the connection information here and paste that in. You can see how easy it is here to actually go and work with a particular database system. It's really, really simple. And I'll go ahead and insert my user password here. And we'll test this connection. And we can see that it was a successful test. So we'll finalize the configuration, and we can see that it's listed here. So now we've set up that Snowflake connection. What we want to do now is actually go and initialize our catalog. We have a default set of metadata files that we're going to leverage as part of that. And what's really cool is because everything is just graph data at its core, the way that we can do that initialization is literally by creating a data set with the special reserved term, which is DDW catalogs. And I'm going to stick it into the organization that we want to provision this catalog in. And so this is catalog test 7. I'm going to leave this a secure file that only I have access to and create it. And so that creates this data set placeholder. And so what I'm going to do at this point is actually drag in our starter kit, which you can actually see here, catalog starter pack. It's a zip file with the necessary initialization files. I'll drag that in, and you can see that load here. And I'll extract that zip. What's nice is that we have a built-in extractor into our platform, so it's really easy to pull in those bundled files. And then we can see that this expands into a few different turtle files, which is graph data. So we've initialized our catalog here. And now when I go and check out our catalog browse page and refresh, we can see that here we have a sample catalog that's been provisioned, and we can actually see that an example glossary term has been pulled in. And so just by dragging and dropping those files in, it created this metadata catalog with some simple example fields such as business owner, updated, we have a calculation field, a summary and a description. As you can imagine, one of the things that we do is that we work with our customers to design what their metadata profiles should look like. You can edit them themselves. We can help you with that process so that you're capturing all of the metadata that you need, whether it's technical, operational, or business type metadata. So you can see now we've set up our initial catalog with that starter pack. Now my crawlers are complete, and so what I want to do now is hop back over to this DDW catalogs data set, and I'm going to go back to my Finder window here, and so now these files have been updated. I can go and actually just drag them in, and these files, these graph files that have been generated through that crawler process, is essentially going to just join our catalogs data set. We can see those two files shown here, Snowflake and Tableau. And now when I go back to this browse page and refresh, we now have not just our business glossary, but our analysis hub and our data catalog as well. And we see that Snowflake and the Tableau information has become a part of this. So that's how easy it was. Now, if I go over and hop over to the data catalog, for example, I can search for all sorts of different tables that are in this particular database. I'm going to look for ones that have the term retail, because in this case I want to actually look at some order data. We talked about that in some of our slides, so to kind of make that relate. So I'm going to hop over to this retail order table here, and if your data is like a lot of people's data, you don't actually put a bunch of column descriptions and things like that. That's one of the reasons why you're looking at a catalog solution, to really provide that robust documentation and allow people to work together to document these different pieces of information. So retail order here, I'll say, this is the core table where order information lives. I'll call this sales orders, and then go ahead and save that. And now I've given this a description, right? And I could easily go into these different columns and provide them descriptions as well, which would percolate through the system. So really easy there. Now I'm going to back up and go and look at our analysis hub. You can see we've pulled in all sorts of different dashboard metadata from Tableau. And there's a couple of dashboards that I'd like to actually go and link to some other things. And so I'm going to first hop into this product dashboard here, which I can see a preview of. I can see some different information that's pulled in associated with that. I could provide a description here if I wanted to. Just to kind of flag this and make it a little easier to find, I'm going to add the word order here and save that. And if I hit View Dashboard, what's really great is that Data.World really is trying to create a connective tissue with all the other things going on in your organization from a data standpoint. And you can see how easy it is. I can click on that and go browse that. So here I'm going to go ahead and hit New and actually create a new business term, and I'm going to call this Product Order, make it a business term, and save it into my sample catalog. And I'm going to bring in a description. I'm going to bring in a summary and paste that in. And I'm going to add a couple of relationships too. I'm going to go search for product order. Let's also add order details, why not? And let's add that retail order table. And hey, let's add a couple of other of those retail tables as well. So we can save that. And now we've just created a brand new business term linked to other pieces of metadata, all on this platform with just a matter of a few seconds. So to really wrap up this whole demo, what I'm going to do now is actually go and create a virtual connection to Snowflake. So you can see it's not just about metadata, but it's about virtual access as well. And so we'll call this Snowflake product and order data. We'll stick this into catalog test 7, which is where we've been putting everything. And I'm actually going to share this with all of the organization and create this. So you can see now I've created that page. And I'm going to go and add this data from Snowflake directly. And so if I hop into my connections here, I can do cat test 7. I'm going to use a live connection. And there are some different tables I want to leverage here. So I want to go ahead and leverage some different product tables. So let's see, product, base product, category, color. Let's bring in language, product line, material, product size, and status. So these are the tables I want. And I'm going to bring in a couple of retail tables as well, those 3 that we saw previously, and import. So now what this is doing is actually pulling that all in, and it's going to make it available as part of this catalog. What's great about this is that not only is it pulling that in from a metadata standpoint, but it's also looking at the data profile and profiling those things, creating summary statistics. It's looking at data quality. It's allowing us to sort of request access to this through this platform, through the sort of security and governance settings that I've set. And once that's actually in here, I can actually create example queries and allow those things to become a part of this asset. So as you can see, we ran out of time here. We hit 10 minutes, and we're just about wrapped up on this loading here, and we'll basically have created an entire catalog from metadata, which you saw over in our catalog view here from our data catalog, to those different analysis pieces that we pulled from Tableau, to the different glossary items, all in a matter of 10 minutes. And now when we hop back here, you see the finished result. We've got all these different tables that we've pulled in. And one of the cool things I could do at this point is if I wanted to explore this, I could actually go and add things like SQL queries. I have one that happens to be sitting off to the side here that actually denormalizes all of this data and turns it into one larger data set. And I could save this query, and then it becomes a part of the fabric of the knowledge of our organization. Now, just to kind of wrap this all up before we kind of move on to Q&A and next steps, what I want to do is actually go back and invite a regular user to this organization. And so I'm going to kind of hop over to this catalog test 7 organization, and I'm going to invite as a member Tim Gasper user. So I've invited that person. And in an incognito window here, I have Tim Gasper end user hanging out. He's received an invite to join Catalog Test 7. And now when I go and I look at this catalog, I can see I now have access to all this catalog information. And when I go and search for something like order, I can see this product order glossary term that we created. I can see different data sets available to me, and I can filter and organize by the different ways that make sense. So that really shows you how quickly you can leverage a platform like Data.World to be able to create this sort of comprehensive view across your metadata from data to analysis using systems like Snowflake, and do so extremely quickly. Obviously, in reality, you know, this process involves people. It involves working together on that metadata profiling, but you can see how quickly you can add different data sources, crawl the different metadata, and create new terms and crowdsource that documentation and information together, and do so with an extremely fast time to value.